Happy Friday, everybody. Hey, Bill, how's it going? I can't see what you guys were talking about beforehand, but I see Bill. That would be hard in fast winds. Has it been windy where you're at, Bill? So today, guys, we're going to talk about our holiday shipping schedule. We're going to look at this show tank here and talk about how to siphon up the detritus in a tank full of sand. Hey, Adam. And we are also going to talk about the ponds again. I saw some questions come in last week about the ponds, so I'll try to answer any of those questions. I don't know if you guys saw the video I posted at the beginning here of how we actually cover the ponds. So there's a quick little 2-minute video there. But I'm going to turn you guys around. And so over here we're actually siphoning. We got the python. It's an extra large python. We're actually siphoning up some detritus out of this tank. And I just want to show you how we siphon out our sand here, and just talk about how you can actually do this without sucking the sand out of your tank. And I know a lot of people have issues with that. You can see all the detritus going up, and you can see down here we have Rob. He's siphoning up the sand, just getting in there just a little bit, and you see as he does that, all the detritus just comes right out. And you notice the sand, which is much more dense, is staying down at the bottom. Now, you can do this and you can still manage to siphon out the sand or suck the sand out. The key is to control the water flow. So if you have sand traveling too far up your tube, what you can do is you can pinch off the tube a little bit, like here for example, and you'll see the detritus and stuff actually start to fall back down, and when I let go, it'll start going back up. So if you pinch off the tube, or you put a finger on the end of the tube and just kind of stop it, and the sand will fall back down into the tank, and the detritus, which is much lighter, will go out up the tube and out into your waste bucket or wherever you are siphoning to. But yeah, you can see there. Hey, Dave. And this is our 600-gallon Tanganyikan tank. Rob and John in the office, they take care of these. They keep them clean, and they do a really good job. So I just wanted to touch on that. Harvey, we're just using a regular python, the Python brand, but any brand of like a specific aquarium gravel vacuum will work. And we are just vacuuming with the power of siphoning, the power of gravity, and just going right into this waste bucket. No, Harvey, we're just using gravity. So see, there's the python down to the tube into the trash can. So that's it. And so thank you, Rob, for showing us that. And if everybody wants to say hi to Rob, a lot of you guys probably talk to him. So he does a good job in the office holding down your orders, and he does a good job. Him and John do a really good job taking care of these tanks. And you see the Frontosa here looking good. You can see they're used to them being in here cleaning. They're not even reacting to them. Yeah, Harvey, so we siphon in these tanks, but we also have drains in them, and we can drain the tanks. So down here in our sump, we'll siphon, but to speed up the process, once we siphon out all the detritus we want, we will actually just turn this valve here and pump out the desired amount of water. And because with 600-gallon tank, that's going to take a long time to siphon out if we just use a small little python. Let's see what else we have here. So, if you guys have any other questions about that, go ahead and ask, and I'll try to answer it. So Adam's saying he's got his order, and the Svena and the Waru that we resent the other day, and they're looking great. Yeah, no problem, Adam. I'm not familiar with what your situation was, but we do run into some shipping issues, and when we need to, we will reship orders, but that's usually if it's an issue with UPS. Look at these guys, they're all hanging out. They look really good. Alright guys, so we're going to talk about our holiday shipping schedule. So if anybody is looking to place an order within this next week or two, I'm just going to touch base on which days we're shipping. And if you are placing an order, when you need to order by to get your fish. So here we're looking at the wild Colombian Oscars we just got in. Net, I will get to that question in a second. Nettinger, after I explain our shipping dates. So for the holiday, we are going to ship all the way up to the Wednesday before Christmas. I believe it is the December 20th. So the last day we'll ship is December 20th, and that will get your fish wherever you're delivering them to the Thursday before Christmas. So that should be the 21st. So December 21st is when the fish will arrive, and the last day we will ship from our facility will be the 20th. Now we're gonna start shipping again on the 26th, so the day after Christmas. So that'll be Tuesday, December 26th. And then I believe we're gonna ship all the way up until the 28th, and then we're gonna be off from shipping until the 2nd, or maybe the 1st. I think it's the 2nd. I think we're starting shipping again the 2nd. But so if you have any special requests about shipments when they're going to ship, or have them arrive certain days, just know that those are the days we're working with. And now it is risky shipping this time of year. There could be some delays. So if you notice anything weird in your tracking, maybe a shipment delay notification or something, go ahead and email us as soon as possible, and we will email our UPS representative, and usually he can get those packages sorted out and where they need to be in time. The issue usually happens if we don't hear about it in time and we tell our UPS representative and it's already too late. So if you hear any issues and you let us know right away, as long as we're here and we can contact our representative, usually it can get sorted out. They understand that there's live fish and they will put a priority on our packages, but a lot of times we might not be here, or you might not see the tracking, and you might not see a delay or anything like that. But just know, as Adam had an issue with UPS, we will make it right. UPS makes it right with us, and we will make it right with you. So communication is always key when it comes to these things. So just keep that in mind. Watch your tracking and communicate with us if there's any issues. Here are some Pictus catfish. These were also wild out of Colombia. And as you can see, they settled in really well. I'm assuming, so we've been doing some talking about these new fish, and some of them have already gone through all their quarantine. They've already been dewormed, and they're looking great. And we're hoping to get them up on Monday. We want to wait just through the weekend, and then we're going to put some of these fish up. Hello, Robert and Net. I will get to your question now. You asked what the black thing in the middle of the show tank was. So those are just actually overflows. So we have a sump in the tank, and you see the overflow grates. So the water is just pumping into the tank from here down in the sump, and then it overflows here down, and all the detritus will go down into the sump. So I'll show you that back here. Let me get you a full view. So the water will overflow, go down, and then it goes to a pipe over here, and it pumps in here, or it drains in here, I should say, and then it goes through some filters here, some filter pads, and some biomedia, and then the pump is here, and it pumps the water back up all the way and back into the tanks on either side. So that's what the black box in the middle of these tanks are. So hello, Robert, and then John has a question. When we diminic the ponds, do you go in there with a loader and scrape? Oh, you're talking about when we clean the ponds. So John's asking, when we clean the ponds, do we go in there with a loader or any type of machinery and scrape it out, or do we do it by shovel? Are you talking about when we create the pond or when we're cleaning the pond, John? So I'll wait for a reply on his question before I answer that. And while we wait for his response, we'll look at some more fish. We got some wild umbies. I don't think I showed these last week. These guys did really good. These will be going up. They have been through all their dewormers, so they'll be up very soon. Now these weren't wild. These were bred here. You can see they're kind of small. These are red turquoise discus. There's 20 of them that are going to be available. We are waiting until Monday to put these up. And you can see the blues are starting to come out. But these guys are going to be blue and red and yellow for the most part. And then they have the black stripes. And the blue and yellow is where they get the turquoise from. It's like a turquoise color. These guys are bred here by us. One of my favorite line bred types of discus. Actually, probably my favorite line bred discus. Just because the pattern and the color. All right, John. So John wants to know, when we clean the ponds, how do we do it? So we actually just put a video out the other day of how we muck the ponds. And basically all we're going to do is we're going to go outside and look at a pond, and we'll talk about it. Robert, we have those discus in RO water and then we add in some of our well water. So we have about 100 TDS, and the pH is around 6.5. So the water's pretty soft, and the low pH. So we'll go look at one of these ponds, and also while we're out here, we'll talk about if you guys have any questions about the ponds and the covers. I'll touch base on that, because I know last week I got some questions after the fact, which was nice, and I like to see that so I can come back and answer your guys' questions. So this pond is already covered, obviously, but each pond we build with a deep end and a shallow end. So the grate is pretty, it's not like drastic, but at the shallow end it'll be maybe 6 to 8 feet, and at the deep end it'll be about 12 feet in some of these deeper ponds. And we'll go look at an empty one. Not an empty one, but one without a cover, so it's easier to explain. So each one of our ponds, once we're done or we're ready to tear the pond down, first we will seine all the fish out. We'll catch them all out, And we'll do that several times because the fish are really good at getting past the net when they have so much area. Guys, I'm sorry if it gets a little windy. I'm gonna try to block the wind. Hopefully the sound doesn't sound terrible. So, all right, here we go. Here's the pond. So what we'll do is, this is gonna be the shallow end of the pond. And the reason I know that is because the way they're all built is we have the water inlet coming in the deep end. So what we'll do is we'll pump all the water out once we catch all the fish out. Now we have 2 pumps running to clean a pond. The first pump's a much larger pump and it can take a lot of sludge and just like mud. It's really good at pumping out it can get sticks through it. It's called a double diaphragm pump, and it can really take a beating, and it'll suck a lot through it. Most pumps would just shut off. They would get jammed up. But so what we'll do is we'll have the pump here pumping all the water out, and we'll pump it into one of our ditches. Now here, we're not too close to any of our ditches. We're about 1, 2, 3. There's like 5 ponds over before a ditch, so we have to run a lot of pipe or hose all the way there to drain into the ditch, and then we'll have essentially a fire hose. We call it a small washdown pump. It's a small water pump, and we have a fire hose on the end of it, and we will clean all of the sides of the pond. So we'll start at one end, clean it all the way, and just as we're cleaning it, the water's pulling all the muck and everything down to the edge, and it's getting pumped back out into the ditch. It works really well. It is time consuming, it's dirty, but that's part of fish farming. David, yeah, so those wild umbies should be up pretty soon, and then we have some other umbie cichlids that should be up soon also. They're tank raised, but they have a location attached to them, so but they're not necessarily wild. The parents, the like grandparents may have been, but not they're not F1 or anything. But I'm sorry guys if this wind is a little crazy. I'm trying to block the wind. Hopefully the wind settles for a second. So you can see we still have ponds to cover. We have the wood set out and the plastic set out. It's in a big roll over there. And when it's not so windy is the only time we can really do it. You guys would be surprised at how much wind this plastic catches, and I've seen full-grown men go airborne while pulling this plastic. It was too windy. It's just like a giant parachute, but it's wrapped up in here. It's just a big roll of greenhouse plastic. But yeah, so we can only do it when the wind's not too bad. So usually first thing in the morning we can get a couple ponds covered before the wind picks up. And so last week after the live feed, I had a question about oxygen in these ponds with the greenhouse plastic over top of it. Now, the oxygen really isn't an issue unless there is an issue with what's holding up this plastic from the water is we have wires strung across every like 8 to 10 feet, and if a wire breaks or a couple wires break and this plastic is sitting directly on top of the water, that's when we'll have issues with oxygen and oxygen exchange in these ponds. But as you can see, right there in the middle. It'll, with the wind, it'll sometimes touch and it'll come back up. That's fine. That's not enough of the surface area being covered, and it's always coming up and down, up and down. But if these wires broke and the plastic was sitting directly on top of these ponds, then it would be an issue. But the ponds are so large, there's not really any concern with that. The concern really is more in the summer if the ponds get too warm. We've seen where fish start to suffer from that. And in the past, we used to run airlines to every pond, and they all had like airlines. And over time, through farming, I guess they found that, hey, we actually don't need these airlines. Everything's fine without them, so we don't use them. Very rarely do we have a case where the oxygen level drops in the pond, and what we'll do is we will take a pump, just like our washdown pump, the same one that we would use to pump out a pond, and we'll take that and we will use that to pump water back into the pond. So essentially, if there's an issue with a pond, we'll take a pump, put it in the water, it'll pump water out and pump it back in. So we're just creating a water surface breaking and helping get oxygen get down into the water. So guys, we are in greenhouse number 6 here. We're on the side where we breed some of our guppies, our bushy nose plecos, and all of our shrimp. So we got blue shrimp, cherry shrimp, orange shrimp, green shrimp, snowball shrimp, and black shrimp. And you can see here, hopefully you guys can see it, these are all blue eye lemon bushy nose. They're about 2 to 3 inches, and they look nice and healthy. Of course, they're all attracted to this piece of driftwood in the vat. They look good. So they should all be for sale. When this vat was set up, there was 139 of them, so we definitely should have these available up on the website. Over here we have calico bushy nose, and it looks like there's some super red in there. And these guys are all just trying to hide. They're all under the log. I'll put my hand in here, guys, and show you. Oh, it's picking up the water stream. So this is where we grow out our bushy nose and we breed them also. See some super reds there, a couple chocolate, there's a long fin chocolate. So does anyone have any questions about the ponds or about shipping? Daniel, yes, mine came from the same line at home. The ones that are more like that super red color are the males. The males have a lot more color in them. The females are almost the color of just like a albino bushy nose, and the males, when they're ready to spawn, they get really, really red. Daniel, not as far as I know. I don't do anything special for my bushy nose at home. I just feed them spirulina pellets, algae wafers, and just small fish food pellets. These are the electric blue crayfish. Robert, we do not have any platies in this greenhouse, but I can walk next door and show you some. So I will walk over there after I show you guys a little bit more in here. There is, here we have the red blue dragon guppies. Mostly females in here. This is a breeder vat. There's a nice male right there. These guys look really nice from above. That green color on a sunny day just like really glows. And there's one over here. See that guy? He's kind of glowing there. So these are the red blue dragon guppies. And over here we just have the blue-green dragon guppies. And there's a lot more of them in here. But the water movement makes it really hard to see. What's nice about these guys, they have a really good pattern on their body. You can see out here it has a small male. These guys are really nice. So let's go look at the platies. Scott, so I just asked earlier this week if we could get some out of our breeding area, out of our breeding room on the multifasciatus. I don't know if any were brought up into the into our warehouse to sell. But if we do have any, we don't have that many, because we try to wait to sell them until they are. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I just noticed I was zoomed way in this whole video. It's ridiculous. But we try to wait to sell them until they're at least an inch, and you know, multis, they don't get that big, so it kind of takes a while to get them to that size. So here's where we keep our platies. This is greenhouse number 5. We breed all the platies outside in the ponds. Here we're looking at sunburst platies. They got scared when I walked up, so they all darted to the bottom. But there's roughly 300 right there. These are just mixed platies. These are throw-offs of all of our nice line-bred platies, and we'll use those. We'll sell them, but sometimes we'll use them for feeders as well. These are the red wag platies down here, and they scattered. There's not that many. We can't keep those guys in stock. They sell really quick. In this greenhouse, we also keep our swordtails. So here are the pineapple swords. We also have our mollies over here as well. So here's some mixed mollies. We got the black swords in here. Here's a koi sword strain we're working on. It looks like they're not breeding true. I see some brick swords in there, so that's unfortunate to see, but you can see the ones that are koi are really nice. Now these are the Tancho koi swords, so they're actually albino. That means the only difference is they have a red eye. So they have red eyes, and then they're red and white in color. They don't have any black on them. They're just red and white. Unfortunately, we haven't had any of those available, just due to breeding them, they're not breeding true, so we're not getting a good good numbers to be able to sell them. There's a creamsicle mollies. Daniel, so we don't breed in the vats necessarily. Some fish we do, but these live bears we do not breed in the vat. They all breed in the ponds. Now obviously live bears, they're going to breed all the time, so they will breed in here. They'll drop fry in here. But for example, these Tancho koi swords, we are breeding them, but we're not breeding them in here intentionally. We were holding them here, and the fry that they dropped were those koi swords, or the brick swords. So, but if we were trying to breed them in here, all we would do is put a bunch of plants in here. So hornwort is our plant of choice when trying to breed live bears or shrimp in these vats, and it just gives them so many hiding places, and they'll drop fry all over, and the fry will survive without any issue. And then one other fish I want to talk about, guys, in this room. So we have on this side of the greenhouse, this is where we put the fish after we seine them from the ponds, and they'll sit in these vats for 1 to 2 weeks while they transition before we sort them and put them where they need to go. So, like today, this vat was brought in. You can see we polycultured the pond, which basically that just means we had more than one species in it. Here we had creamsicle mollies and star sapphires. Now, I don't believe these star sapphires will be up for sale. I think these are going to be breeders and put into another pond. But, sorry guys, I was trying to close this door. The wind keeps blowing it open. So the one last fish I want to talk about over here, and I'm going to scoop a couple up and show you, are these Ocellaris peacock bass. Now we bred these here. If you guys are wondering, we just have styrofoam over the vat. Peacock bass are extreme jumpers, and we just don't want them to jump out. And we just put these up on the website this week. I believe Monday we put some of these up. So anybody with big tanks looking for some big aggressive fish, we have plenty of these. So these are the Ocellaris peacock bass. I only caught a couple. I don't want to stress them out too bad, but they're all about the same size, and they're about 3.5, 4 inches, and they're actually eating pellets already. So we got them off live food. Now we try to do that so you guys don't have to go through the pain of trying to feed them feeders, live food all the time. But some people like that. That's why they get the fish, but some people don't. And feeders are risky, so you can transfer parasites and other nasty and diseases to your fish unless you have a good clean source. So what we try to do is get them on prepared pelleted foods as soon as possible, and it looks like it worked. They're nice and healthy and ready to go. So those got put up on the website. So if you guys have any last minute questions, John's asking about pygmy rainbow fish. We don't have any. Do you have any blue dragon bloods? If we do, they're up in the up in the warehouse, and I don't know if we have any available. If the inventory on the website is 0, then most likely not. We spent most of this week getting all the inventory up to date, recovering from the Black Friday sale, which Once again, guys, thank you for that awesome sale that we had. That went really well. Daniel, next week, Christmas is on Monday. Yes, there will be a live stream next week. I will be here. Several other people will be here. Some people might be on vacation, but I'll be here, so I'll do the live stream and we will look at some fish. So I just want to say thank you guys, and we will catch you next Friday. And be safe out there. The holiday times can get crazy, and we'll catch you next week.